We've created a new meeting request in our own calendar and invited other people to take part in the meeting with us. But what does it look like when you're invited to attend a meeting? Well, we have a meeting invitation in my calendar right now. I can tell it's a meeting invitation because it has a different icon beside it than an email, which has just a little envelope. In this case, it looks like a calendar grid with a little envelope in the top right-hand corner. There's also a little bell icon here, and that indicates there's a reminder attached to this also. I can left-click on it here to see the results in the reading pane, and up at the top, I have some buttons that I might use to respond to this meeting request. But if I want to see all the details, I can double-click on it to open it up in its own window. Here I have all the information about this meeting request, and up in the ribbon I have various responses and actions that I can take. Now, I could either accept or decline or set it as tentatively accepted at this point, or I can choose to go into the Actions group and click on Calendar. And this is great because the issue really is, I've been invited to take part in this meeting. Does it fit into my calendar or not? Do I have time? If I click on Calendar, it's going to take me directly to that day on the calendar. And I can scroll down here, and it's tentatively put it in. Notice the little barber pole looking line to the left here, and that indicates it's not really been added, but this is where it would fit if I choose to accept it. So I can see that currently it fits in nicely with my calendar. I've got another meeting before it, but there's a little bit of time in between, and I've got a couple of meetings that day, but it does fit in here. So that gives me the information I need to make my next decision, which is how should I respond? In the Respond group, I can choose to accept it, and if I accept it, of course, it will add it to my calendar. By default, it will send the response now, and if I choose OK, it will send a simple message back to the person who requested the meeting saying that I accept it. Now I can choose to edit that response, to add more text, add another question, or just communicate some additional information to that person who invited me if I choose, or I can not send a response. If I don't send a response, it still adds it to my calendar. It's just not going to let the person who invited me know I've accepted it. That's probably not a good idea. It would be a good idea to let them know. I'm just going to cancel for now and show you some of the other responses. We could tentatively accept this. So we could tentatively accept it. It'll put it in our calendar but mark it as a tentative item. And then we'd have the ability to go back and respond to it again later on when we confirm that we're going to attend or not. We can also decline. If you choose to decline, it's going to by default ask you to edit the response before sending. Of course, I can ignore that. But in many cases, if you're declining altogether a meeting invitation, you may want to communicate and let the person know why you've declined and what the issue is. Maybe you're going to be away on vacation or something like that. You may also propose a new time. If this just isn't going to work for you, you used your calendar button here to check it out. You can propose a new time, and this will show you what is currently booked by the participants in that time period. So here's that day, and here is the free and busy information for the various participants in the meeting. Now currently you can see that I already have something booked between 12:30 and 2 o'clock. And here's where the new proposed meeting is set up. Now, if everyone is using Microsoft Outlook or calendar information has been attached, then you may be able to see the free busy information for everyone during that day. In this case, I could propose a new time, but this one already works for me, so I'm going to cancel. At this point, I think I'll simply accept this meeting. However, I do want to edit the response before sending. And I might want to say something like, please bring your research data. Of course, I could insert some of mine if I'd like as well, if I wanted to attach a file with some of that data or some other information. But I just want to communicate something else back to the person who invited me to the meeting. I'm going to send that. So I've now accepted that meeting, sent the response back to the person who invited me. If we go take a look at my calendar, and we take a look at that day, here's the new meeting that we just accepted.